up. Electra, the WA star, has won.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip, featuring Peter O'Neill. This is where we take a look at the WA Greyhound racing scene, keeping a close look at what is happening on and off the track.
Keep an eye on the clock. She is brilliant, Miata. She stops the clock, 36.55, a new track record. Very good morning, everyone, and welcome along to Greyhound Gossip as we celebrate the 2023 Greyhound of the Year winner, Elite Machine, who was named last night at a gala function in Western Australia, here in Perth in Kings Park. And we'll be talking with Jamie Marsh and also Daniel Williams coming up here on Greyhound Gossip in a short period of time. Before we get to that, a very good program over the weekend, Friday and Saturday night. And, of course, we saw Moreton take out the Gold Rush on, Thursday, back to Thursday. Of course, Tommy Shelby's first ever Group 1 winner. So great to see Tommy Shelby with a Group 1 winner. And it was in up in Brisbane, where WA Greyhounds have had success in the past, and Moreton successful there. On Saturday night at Cannington, we had the Sandys Mamum Memorial, and Hinto was able to camp right on the top of the speed. Crumble Manelli got to the front early, but Hinto was able to get past him. And for Christine Robertson and her daughter Jodie Jennings, they were able to salute with Hinto, who's now won in excess of $280,000 in stake money. Remarkable chaser has been Hinto. Last night in Perth at Kings Park, we had the 2023 gala function for the Greyhound of the Year Awards, and the night not only celebrated the WA Greyhound of the Year but also started to look back at the 50 years of greyhound racing here in Western Australia. We had Paul Ambrosoli and Paul Cucci, two legends from New South Wales who'd flown over. They were at the first ever meeting at Cannington back on the 12th of December 1974, and I was lucky enough to talk with Fred Kersley, a legend in both harness and thoroughbred racing, and he grew up right next door to the showgrounds, which is now Cannington, and he was there on opening night and presented Dennis Collegia, who I also spoke with last night. He presented a trophy to Dennis, who won a race on that first night with a greyhound by the name of Worth Some More. And, of course, Dennis went on to take out the first ever Perth Cup, which was then called the Gold Cup, with a greyhound called Marcus Raid. He's won Greyhounds of the Year before with Flaming Bolt. So great to see so many of the people that have been involved in greyhound racing for such a long period of time. Some of the legends of our sport were all there last night. So that was great to see. We also had winners, of course, there on the night, and the first of those winners was the leading trainer of the year, which went to Chris Holst. Chris had a remarkable season in 2023, and he had in excess of, just looking at 232 races. Of course, he trained the Group 1 Galaxy winner, First Pick, who was sent across by his brother-in-law, Robert. Couchsurfer finished third in that race. Of course, Couchsurfer was crowned the Cannington Track Star. He won the Group 2 All-Stars with West on Booney, so he had another remarkable season. Adam Smithson was crowned the 2023 Young Achiever of the Year Award. We'll hopefully speak with Adam on Greyhound Gossip a little bit later on this morning. And Kerry Vernon, was great to see Kerry. We spoke with her last week here on the show, and she had the opportunity last night to come back to Perth and present the award named in her honour, the Kerry Vernon Award for Excellence in Greyhound Welfare. That went to Lynn Foster, who has been involved over the last 12 months in helping to rehome and reteach those greyhounds with a few difficulties in being able to become pets. So well done to all the award winners last night. But of course, the big news of the night was that of Elite Machine, who was named the WA Greyhound of the Year, and we're about to be joined by Jamie Marsh and also Daniel Williams, who are about to join us on the program. A big weekend of greyhound racing coming up as well, with the Temley, the Rookie Rebel, and the Zoom Top coming up in Melbourne. And there was a few comments last night on social media in regards to the lack of coverage, and that was a deliberate ploy by Racing and Wagering WA, because unfortunately for the first time since I've been involved in greyhound racing, we had a few activists outside last night, so that didn't escalate. There was a deliberate ploy not to put any social media up, but that will be coming up. All the pictures from the meeting a little bit later on. Two guys that hopefully have pulled up well this morning. They were celebrating early into the morning, and that is the owner of Elite Machine in Daniel Williams and also Jamie Marsh. Before we go to both of these gentlemen, of course, the Group 1 Sky Racing Perth Cup was the feature and the start of Elite Machine's big year. Set. Ready. Racing, jumping very quickly, Electrified, hunting up on the inside was Elite Machine. Electrified trying to cross. Elite Machine pushes up underneath of him. One came down, Who Told Tough, and finding the top was Rumbling Moment from out wide. So now going around the outside, Elite Machine goes past him, goes clear by 3, Rumbling Moment. In third place, Electrified, then followed by Lupini Manelli. Well back was Mick Flash along with Momentum. Yahoo Serious, but off the back, and Elite Machine raced away in the cup. Out by 6 lengths on Electrified, then followed by Lupini Manelli. Jamie Marsh, this is your night. Group 1 glory in the Perth Cup with Elite Machine, wins by 7 lengths. Second goes to Electrify, then followed by Mick Flash across the line next to... So that was early last year with Elite Machine taking out the first of the Group 1s, the Perth Cup, and Jamie Marsh and Daniel Williams are about to join us. First of all, Daniel, good morning to you, the successful owner, the owner of Elite Machine. You would have been tickled pink and celebrated well into the early hours this morning. Congratulations and good morning to you.
Good morning, Pete. It was... fantastic night last night, and just a fantastic year for the dog and for Jamie and myself, and we're still pinching ourselves about what happened throughout the year.
I'm tipping you sound a little bit better than our next special guest who's online with you, and that's Jamie Marsh. Jamie, congratulations. Good morning. How do we find you this morning?
Yeah, surprisingly not too well, Pete. I've been better. I'm not going to lie, but I'm still chuffed. It was a great night, and just sitting here, still remembering it all and enjoying it.
It was a remarkable start to the season, Daniel. You decided to bring the Greyhound back from Victoria, and after a couple of starts, he ends up going into a Perth Cup final. Tell us about the nerves prior to that.
The nerves of the heat and the final were pretty similar, to be honest. But he had 2 in the heat, and it looked like he was drawn pretty well, and obviously he was favourite going in, so there was a bit of expectation there. He jumped well and got through the final, and then obviously drawing box 1 in the final we're very, very happy about it, but you never really know what's going to happen, but. Jamie really worked him well during the week, and he pulled up good, and went into the race fully fit, and he did the rest.
How was it for you, Jamie, that lead up to another Group 1 final? You'd never won a Group 1 before, and this Greyhound was going to give you a really big chance.
Yeah, it's probably a different set of circumstances, Pete. I've made 3 or 4 before, but none going in as the favourite, and probably the draw in the red and expected to win. So it was a really, really different feeling. It's probably one, I think, that when you do your last piece of work with him and you put him away until Saturday, you sort of breathe a sigh of relief for about 4 hours, and then the nerves start again, going to the races and things like that. It's a feeling that it's 2 things. One, you're nervous, but then it's all done and dusted and you missed it, and you can't wait to be in another one. But, for him to bring up my first Group 1 and it to be my hometown cup was an amazing feeling, and hopefully one that I get to chase again.
I'll get to that shortly. Soon after that, of course, you had a crack at the first ever slot race here in WA, the Sandgroper. He finished 3rd behind the eventual winner in Crumble Manelli, but a race that had a lot of build-up, and you were lucky to be involved with the Rams Racing team, who had success at Ascot a couple of days later. So while they didn't win on the opening night of the Western Trilogy, they certainly celebrated it, and you were able to enjoy the lead-up and the build-up with them.
Yeah, it was. They were really a good bunch of blokes. They were very similar to us in that they enjoyed a beer and were very laid back. I think the best thing was there was no pressure. They just enjoyed themselves, and that was good. They invited us along to Saturday, and all 4 of us got to go to Ascot and enjoy the win with them, and to the point where they included us in the photos and having drinks after and everything like that. So the whole why we didn't come away with the win, and well done to Crumble. We we really enjoyed the experience. And look, it's been a great initiative, and I'm sure this year will be bigger and better. But like that's just, it's a dog like him that gives you these experiences that you'll never forget.
I'll just get you to hold and listen to this. Four of you, so the two partners and also Daniel and Jamie, and also little Harper, the daughter, decided to jump on a plane and head up to Queensland, chase some of the riches during their carnival, and it culminated in the 2023 Brisbane Cup.
Racing, Postman Pat last away. Well into stride, Bears Bullet together there with Elite Machine driving through Crumble Manelli. Postman Pat wide in midfield as they go round the first turn. Bears Bullet taken on by Elite Machine. Up to third was Magistrate. Postman Pat midfield followed by Crumble Manelli. Emron Boy, Mapunga Warrior. Last of all, Simply Limelight down the side. Elite Machine burst away by 5 over Magistrate, Postman Pat. But it's Elite Machine. It's racing away to Group 1 Glory. And Elite Machine by 6 lengths, either Postman Pat or Mapunga Warrior.
So another Group 1 for the year, and you might have been a little bit nervous before the Perth Cup, or very nervous, Daniel, but the nerves also kicked in, and you're probably lucky to have the girls around you, including Harper, up there in Queensland.
For all 5 of us to go over and experience that was a great thrill, and it was a little bit different to the Perth Cup, but the nerves were definitely still there, and he had 2 runs there prior and went really well, and we're pretty nervous before the prelude, because obviously had the fall the week before, and then we sent him over. So we just wanted him to get around safely and get back to his best, and he didn't miss a beat over there.
What was it like, Jamie? You weren't happy with just one Group 1 for the year. You decided to pocket a second one, so a dual Group 1 winning trainer now. What was it like up there in Queensland taking on Postman Pat? Was the best in Australia at the time?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like I say, I mean it's all about him and the experiences that he's brought us as a family, and it's just a whirlwind 6 months with the Perth Cup into a Sand Groper and a Lou Dawser thrown in there, and then over to Brisbane to chase $1 million race is uncanny. So the whole night was amazing. I think Dan had to help me out at the casino at one stage afterwards, but after that it was a lot of celebrating, and all credit goes to him. At the end of the day, he has been an absolute super animal, and a pleasure to train, and I'll always thank Dan for that. And just a whirlwind 6 months. We've been lucky to go on with him.
I've admired from afar the fact of, and knowing the history of your relationships, but the fact that the 4 of you, so Kate and Sam and Daniel and yourself, Jamie, have been able to stay so close with Harper. Daniel and Sam now have a little baby boy as well, but to be able to enjoy that as a family, it must have been special up there in Queensland.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the plane ride was amazing, and Harper probably took the most out of it, apart from the walking through the streets of Brisbane, which he whinged about non-stop. But it was they're just experiences that we're forever indebted to Nigel for taking us on, and we get along great. And it's just you sort of dream of nights like that, and to share them as an extended family and so on is something that you just never forget, and it just shows you how amazing greyhound racing is as bringing us together, and Nigel for bringing us together as a family and letting us go on this journey.
He won a heat of the Group 2 All-Stars before finishing unplaced behind West on Booney in the final, and then he was invited to the Top Gun where he had no luck at all. We haven't seen him since the Top Gun. How's he travelling at the moment? And the Perth Cup's coming up in March, and also the second of our Sand Gropers in the slot race in April. Are we expecting to see him back at the track soon?
Yeah, fingers crossed he's back trialling well. So, whilst he's getting on a bit now, he's ticking over to 4 shortly, but these injuries sort of seem to pop up, especially with a dog of his ability and how hard he tries. So, everything's going to plan so far, Pete. It'd be a lovely thing to go back to back whilst it's an enormous task for him. Everything's going well at the moment, so he's had a few runs back at Cannington, and they've both been pretty encouraging. So as long as he stays together and everything, we'll push forward to another tilt at the carnival.
Well, not too many greyhounds have been. In fact, I think only one in High Earn has been able to go back-to-back in the Perth Cup. It'd be great to see Elite Machine back fit and healthy and racing during that carnival. Daniel and Jamie, congratulations to you both, and also to the girls with Elite Machine. Nigel taking out the WA Greyhound of the Year for 2023. Remarkable season. Let's hope the success can continue. And thanks for joining us, both of you, this morning on Greyhound Gossip.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Thanks for all your support for us through the year as well. We really do appreciate it.
Good on
Thank
you
very much, Pete.
Good on you. Daniel Williams and also Jamie Marsh joining us. A successful night, and Jamie does sound a lot better than I thought he might after celebrating well into the early hours last night. Another of the feature wins last night was the 2023 Jerry O'Keefe Award, and that went to Norm Gould, who's been involved. He actually had a greyhound that raced on the first night back in 1974, and he also has been involved with training, working for Greyhounds WA. He's been a steward for the last 30 years, and he was a very, very popular winner. We're hoping to have Norm on next week on Greyhound Gossip, so we'll have a talk to him about his career, which has spanned 50 years in greyhound racing here in WA. Our next special guest, though, is another very, very popular winner on the night, and that is Adam Smithson, who took out the Young Achiever of the Year award, and Adam joins us online now. He probably would have won this award a number of years ago. He had a greyhound, though, by the name of Vice Grip, who was winning everything and taking everything before him, and possibly Rawa didn't want to give him all the awards on one night a couple of years ago, and Adam joins us this morning on Greyhound Gossip. Adam, how do we find you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Pete. I've got my coffee now, so I'm all set after a late night.
Yeah, it was a late night. It was a great night, wasn't it? Celebrating and looking back at not only the 50 years of WA racing, greyhound racing, but also 2023, which was a very successful year for many WA greyhounds. We just mentioned Elite Machine, Sage to Neil, also Crumble Manelli had successful years, along with a number of other WA chasers, and in your team as well. And your credit goes to being announced as the Young Achiever Award. That must have been a bit of a shock to you.
Yeah, it was, to be honest. It was, like you said, it was a great year for WA greyhounds, really. The way those dogs you mentioned travelled and won races over east. So it was a great year, and yeah, it was a bit more of a quieter year for me after coming off Vice Grip and dogs like Zarbel. But no, I'm just grateful and thankful to be able to win that award.
Do you have any more Vice Grips or Zarbels looking into in your kennel at the moment that might be going towards a Perth Cup Galaxy Carnival?
Not at this stage. I've got a heap of young pups actually coming through that are fairly well bred. So no, we tried what we could with that dog Beechridge. He was probably the next big thing from my kennel, but we just didn't fall our way with him, and he had a few issues. So. No, it's a little quiet at the moment. I've got a kettle full of pups, so over the next 6 months, we'll see how we go.
Well, speaking of pups, you were a young child, probably from when you were born. You were brought up with greyhounds around you. Your grandparents were heavily involved, and your mum and dad were both successful trainers in WA. Tell us the first time that you can remember that you had that bug and wanted to just hang around mum and dad and the greyhounds.
Yeah, well, it would have been I probably would have been five or six, and mum and dad had probably a five dog kennel, and we lived in Byford in suburbia, so we used to have to travel to gallop the dogs, and Dad would take me out with him out to Dennis Collegia's place to slip the dogs. And after I did that once or twice, I don't think he could leave the house without me in the passenger seat. I loved it from day dot, and it's just one of those things. I'm one of four kids, and none of my brothers or sisters sort of took to the greyhounds in that sense, but I just couldn't get away from them.
And you, from a young age, probably from 5 or 6, you wanted to get involved not only with handling the greyhounds, but I think you had a role of washing out the feed bowls and changing the dogs' waters, which was very important back then for you. Yeah,
it was. One of those things. I think Dad sort of looked at it as he couldn't get rid of me out of the kennel, so he may as well put me to work. But it did work out well. That I learnt the responsibilities of training and having dogs, and you learn that it's 24/7 sort of. I learnt that from day dot, and Dad was very thorough in what he did. So it was sort of drilled into me at a young age that you've always got to be there for the dogs, and things have to be done regardless of Christmas Day or no matter what it is. So no, that was one of those things growing up in it that it definitely helps you out.
While you were a teenager and you were a successful footballer and a very, very talented sportsman, you wanted to become a trainer at a young age, didn't you? But your mum and dad wouldn't let you, and they encouraged you to take up a trade.
Yeah, I did from day dot. As soon as I got into high school, I was telling Dad I wanted to train dogs, and because he only had a kennel of 4 or 5 dogs, I don't know if he just thought it would be a hobby sort of thing for me. So he pushed me into getting a trade, and they said, if you get the trade, we'll help you get set up, and that's sort of the path we took. I got the trade done, and I think it was the day I got my qualifications. I said to Dad, look, I've done my part, let's do it. So yeah, that's when they bought the place down in Nambalup and sort of set it all up, and then a few years later I bought the place off them.
It was a big move to leave a trade and a reliable income to go full-time greyhound training, but you've got a work ethic that I notice all the time that was always going to put you in good stead, and with your parents behind you, you've got the astuteness of knowing how to pick greyhounds and also how to have them right on certain nights.
Yeah, again, that falls back to Mum and Dad. Dad only having a small kennel, he was very thorough with the dogs, and he sort of trained astutely, and yeah, he had a certain criteria of dog that he wanted to train, and yeah, it's just one of those things that it wasn't really an option to me. There was a certain way to do it and do it properly.
The fact that you went full-time training and had 2 greyhounds that came into your care that were going to certainly help put you on the map. Zarbel, talk to us about Zarbel first of all, and then of course you had your first success in a Group 1 in the 2022 Perth Cup with a star in Vice Grip.
Yeah, well, Zarbel was a dog. He was over in Tasmania for Eileen Thomas, and they just weren't getting the 600-metre races over there, and when he did get a start, it was probably once a month, and his times were good, and it just wasn't worth leaving him over there. They get 1 run a month, if that. So he's a good mate of Dad. So they spoke to Dad and just asked if I was interested to give him a go, because we had 600 and 700 metre races here, and he was a funny one, because you'd trial him and you knew straight away that 500 just wasn't an option. So he was one of those dogs that the further you put him, the better he went. And yeah, he helped me greatly, really.
And Vice Grip, tell us about the ride that you and the family, because you've got a young family now, went on with Vice Grip.
Yeah, that was incredible to jump into training full time, and you're sort of trying to learn on the go a bit there, because working with Mum and Dad, you sort of you learn a lot, but you don't really know until you're out on your own. And yeah, it just a dream start, really. I couldn't have asked for a greater dog to come into the kennel. And no, what he did, he definitely set me up, and it just made the whole process a lot easier. Dogs like that are 1 in a million. So I'll forever be grateful for him. It
was a whirlwind, wasn't it? If you remember, and I'm sure you do, as we do, the inaugural Phoenix, he was in that final at the Meadows, and then it was only a couple of months later when you tasted that first Group 1 success in the Perth Cup.
Yeah, it was. He was one of those dogs that he just kept getting better and better. It sort of blew me away a little bit there, and the way he performed here prior to the Phoenix, you thought he'd really have a good chance over there, and he got a sticky draw. He was the last dog called out, and you got to select your box over there. So he got an awkward draw and had no luck whatsoever. But the dog just tried everywhere he went, and the Perth Cup, he sort of put it all together, and he began on the night, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Everything lined up, and he just did his thing.
He won over $500,000 in stakes, and he was the 2022 WA Greyhound of the Year. I mentioned last night a greyhound that I can't remember. I'm not sure if you will. Most people do remember their first one. Back in 2017, a greyhound by the name of Terrestrial was your first winner as a trainer.
Yes, I remember that dog. That was actually Starlight Ash's brother from memory. It was a dog from Paul Stewart that we had, and yeah, he was probably more suited to being a pet than a race dog, but no, he would have been the first dog I trained as a winner.
Yeah, you've got a remarkable strike rate, a winning strike rate of around 25% since you started training. You've trained over 237 winners, of course, the Group 1 Perth Cup being the feature, and I'm sure, and hopefully for you, you'll have many more Group 1 winners over the years ahead. It's great to have the young people in our sport and watch them grow up, and I've been able to admire you as you come through. You're a gentleman and a hard worker and well-deserving winner of the 2023 Young Achiever Award last night. Well done, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks a lot, Pete, and thanks for your support over the years.
Good on you. Adam Smithson, one of the really nice guys, and there are a lot of nice people in greyhound racing, and there were so many of them there last night celebrating greyhound racing. It's going to be another tough year going forward with obviously the rehoming, the greyhounds as pets. There's some work to be done at both Mandurah, Cannington and Northam, and we're still waiting on that straight track as well to be set up. But a lot of positives came out of last night, and this is a big year. 50 years of celebrating in December. On December 12th this year, we'll have the Anniversary Cup, and there'll be a big celebration to celebrate the 50 years. And well done to David Simonetti, who put a lot of the videos together last night with a team from Greyhounds WA. They were outstanding, and hopefully we'll get to see them on social media going forward, and also to the team at Racing WA who put the night together. A big week of greyhound racing ahead of us. Of course, later on today we have greyhound racing coming in from Cannington, the first at 12 minutes past 6, and later on this week we'll of course return with the Mandurah and Cannington programs throughout the week. No racing yesterday, of course, because of the WA Greyhound of the Year Awards. We'll take a break, we'll come back, and after this we'll head into a preview with Dubbo, and Leah Ernest will take you through race day. Good morning.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.